Yeah, hey there guys. This is just a follow-up to my last video where I was reviewing the PAL SEGA Mega Drive. There's just some things that I didn't get time to mention in the last video because, like I said, I've only got that annoying 15-minute time limit. Then YouTube never offered me endless recording time for videos, so I'm stuck with the 15-minute time limit. But there's some things that I wanted to mention in the last one that I never got to mention, never got around to. And for one, it's regarding the Sega Mega CD. I know most people prefer the Model 1 Sega Mega Drive, Sega Mega CD model, the original Sega Mega CD model, which looks something like this, ordinary CD player, where it had the tray that comes in. Well, the original Sega Mega CD model looked something like an ordinary CD player, whereas the second models had this flip tray on a spring flip tray. Now, just like the Sega Mega Drive Model 2, the Sega Mega CD Model 2 was also not liked as much by fans. You know, like everyone prefers the Model 1 Mega Drive and the Model 1 Mega CD. Well, I can't really speak on this like firsthand because I don't own a Sega Mega CD Model 1. I've never come across one. I've never even seen one on eBay. Only from, you know, overseas sellers, but nothing from here in Australia. It's always the Model 2s. So personally I prefer these second model Mega CD 2s with the spring flip tray because it's got a for the simple reason that it's manual. You open it manually, not automatically. I like it like that because if you've got a Sega Mega Drive cartridge and your cartridge slot of your Mega Drive, with the original Mega CD Model 1, you can't open the tray if the cartridge is in. I think you got to do it from the controller. You press the C button or something, and it opens like that. But that's if it's that's if you don't have the cartridge in it. But see, nobody picks up on this, and it's something that I feel that has to be brought to attention, is that the fact that you can open this one with the cartridge in it, because it's manual. You do it yourself. See, that is something that the second models had better. It's just either everyone's too ignorant to pick up on it, or I don't know, but I think it's better. For this one reason alone, you know. It's nice, you know, you can put a disc in or take it out while the game's on and the power's on as well, so yeah. And I said I was going to talk about the first few games I got, so I might as well do that now since I've got everything set up. Yeah. The Sega Mega Drive, the PAL Sega Mega Drive Model 1, well, the original one that I had from my childhood was a later Model 1. It was the one that had that boot up screen upon putting every game on. It said produced by or under license by Sega Enterprises. Yeah, well, the original one I had, the original Model 1 I had that screen on it. And for me, personally, I got into the Sega Mega Drive era late, because before 1992 I knew nothing about video games. I mean, for me it all started with the Sega Master System. I mean, my mother, I still remember vividly in my mind that my mother, she bought me the Sega Master System, and at the time I thought it was some sort of, it came in this big white box, you know, and I thought it was just a toy or had a racing car or something in it, a Matchbox set. And you know, my dad was home at the time, and he hooked it up for me, and it started everything. It started my Sega obsession. And the first game I ever played was the Sega Master System Sonic one. Well, this is the Mega Drive Sonic one, but it was the Master System Sonic one that I played. That was the first game, and it came, the Master System that I had, it was the Master System Model 2, and it came bundled with Sonic 1 on Master System, Hang On, and it had Alex Kidd in Miracle built in. Yeah, I still got the Master System lurking around here somewhere. Oh, I think it's in there somewhere. So I've still got that. But then through the growing year of 1992, Sega were getting more popular, especially with the Sega Mega Drive, which came out the same year the Sega Master System 2 did, which was 1990. And this was a very popular piece of hardware back then, the Sega Mega Drive. And I remember like going over to friends' places, because the street I lived in, there was a lot of kids that lived across the road and that, and some of them had a Sega Mega Drive before I did, so I got to go to their places to play the Sonic games first, and it was like, oh wow, you know, wow, look at the 16-bit graphics, the music, you know. I still remember the first time I ever saw Sonic 2, footage of Sonic 2 on Mega Drive. I was standing outside the kids across the road. I was standing on their front balcony, and I could hear from their lounge room window, I could hear the Emerald Hill music, and it was so enchanting. It was beautiful, you know. And then I could see through the window, I could see Sonic and Tails running and jumping and collecting rings and destroying the monkeys that throw the bomb coconuts. And you know, this was all before I had the Sega Mega Drive. This was, like I said, this is in 1992, maybe early 93. But anyway, for me, I got the Sega Mega Drive. I finally got a Sega Mega Drive in, I think it was in October. It was either October or November 1993. That's when I got one of these. So I don't know, that's pretty late. But I was originally going to get one for Christmas. My parents were going to buy me one for Christmas. And these were expensive at the time. These were so expensive. At least over here they were. But because I wanted it so much, they decided to give it to me a little bit earlier. So I didn't have to wait till Christmas, December after all, of 93. I got it a few months earlier. And it came bundled with these two games. Oh, this light is pretty bright, isn't it? Yeah, it came bundled with Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. I haven't got the box, unfortunately. That's something I regret, because chucked that out the moment I unpacked it. And yeah, so these are the two games that it came bundled with. It didn't come bundled with Altered Beast. So these were the games that came bundled with it. These replaced it, Altered Beast, years later. So yeah, these were the first two games I got, and oh, it was like a kid in a candy store, you know. I couldn't believe it, you know, that it was so much fun, you know. Your Sonic 1 was so much fun. That was the first one I played. Then I played the second one, Sonic 2. I had a go, but I had both of them together. And that were the first two games I got. And my mother at the time, she worked at a Tandy warehouse, so she could get these games cheap from there, and that's what she did. And she did that she got a lot of my Sega Master System games from my Sega Master System collection over there. I'll just shut this door because it's so bright, and I'll turn the light off. So yeah, she worked at this warehouse, Tandy warehouse, and I think with a lot of the games, when they weren't selling in the stores, when they became a bit old, they'd ship them back to the warehouses where my mother worked, and so she could buy them really cheap from there. and so that's where I got that's where I got a lot of them from. So yeah, and so after Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, I had Jurassic Park on the Sega Mega Drive. This is the third game that I got. The third game, not first, third. This was straight after the first two Sonics. And my mother got this from the warehouse, the Tandy warehouse where she worked. And my first impressions of this one was I didn't like it much. It felt like a drag after playing Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 and how hyped up these two titles were. Just Jurassic Park just didn't feel like it was up to the 16-bit standards. But that's how I thought at the time. But now, years later, you know, I love this game now. I mean, I have a great deal of respect for it. It's a great game. I mean, you can actually play as a dinosaur in this game. You don't have to play as the guy in the movie. So that's good. So that was my thoughts then. And then the fourth game I got was another really big one, which was Street Fighter 2. Special Champion Edition. Because I remember playing this in the arcades, you know, back in '93 at the time, or when my parents had to go and buy milk from down the shop, they'd have the arcade cabinet of Street Fighter 2, and I'd go with them with a few coins just so I could have a go at it. Oh, and it was fun, you know. I'd get knocked out, you know, pretty much after a few fights, but it was fun. And this was my dad. Still to this day, he claims that this is the most expensive game he ever bought, because he bought this for me. He reckons it was $187, Australian dollars, that is. I can't confirm that because I was just a stupid kid at the time. I didn't care about how much games were, I just wanted them. So, I don't know if that's true, if they were $187, but Jesus, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? So yeah, I bugged the hell out of him to buy this for me, and he finally gave in and he bought it for me. And it plays just like the arcade, you know? I'm sure you all know about this game. I mean, there's tons of reviews on it. I mean, CGR has done a review on this, and they've even pitted it against the Super Nintendo version. So yeah, they were the first four games I got. I was really happy with Street Fighter 2. I mean, it was great. You know, I used to play as Ryu and Ken all the time because they're my favourites. And then I think the fifth and sixth Sega Mega Drive games I got, I think, were Bart's Nightmare and Global Gladiators. They came together because, again, my mother got them from the Tandy warehouse. And then I think the seventh one that I got was Lemmings. Lemmings, for me personally, well, that one's a very nostalgic title for me because I have a lot of memories playing that one with my father. Not that he's dead or anything, he's still alive. I'm just saying that I got a lot of memories playing that one because he was really good at that game. Lemmings is an action puzzle game, and he was really good at it. And so he used to actually play it more than me. He used to hand the controller to me on the easy levels. So if I got stuck, I'd hand the controller over to him, and he'd try and whiz through it. So I got a lot of memories of that one. For me, personally, on a nostalgic level, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, the Sonic the Hedgehog Mega Drive titles, and Lemmings 1 on Mega Drive. They're the ones that are very nostalgic to me, you know, like. So yeah, well, I've got to cut it short here because I'm running out of time again. I just want to say thank you for watching. I want to give a shout out to Ian Wilson, 1978, which I forgot to do in the last video, because watching his videos has kind of, you know, indulged me to make my own, and he's a great influence. So thank you very much, Ian Wilson, 1978, and all your wonderful Mega Drive videos. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll make more in the future. I don't know, but okay. I gotta go. I'm running out of time. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you all later.